That's because the CARES Act provided $1.3 billion for Kentucky healthcare providers alone, on top of more than $120 million we'd already sent for testing. But Kentucky's incredible nurses, doctors, and hospitals are not finished fighting the battle on behalf of their communities. And Congress must not be finished helping them do it. That's why Senate Republicans proposed major new investments in health providers. We want to send tens of billions more to expand testing, to reimburse healthcare facilities for unplanned pandemic expenses, to speed the development and rapid distribution of COVID-19 treatments, and to find a vaccine to finish this fight once and for all. That's what Republicans would like to do, but Democrats have blocked all of it over non-COVID related liberal demands. Let's talk about the PPP, the historic program from Chairman Collins and Chairman Rubio that has kept Main Street alive and kept millions of Americans from losing their jobs. This program has been transformational for Kentucky. Our small businesses and their workers have received more than $5 billion in payroll support. As the director of the Dare to Care Food Bank in Louisville told me recently, PPP funding is what has allowed his facility to keep its entire workforce precisely when our community needs were the greatest. And I heard from the director of a Kentucky museum, quote, "The PPP program was the one hope that we had to keep our business alive." But these small businesses and nonprofits are now nearing the end of that help. PPP had to close its doors last Saturday for new applications, and many employers are exhausting the money they had already received. Our country is approaching another small business tipping point, and workers could begin getting pink slips instead of paychecks. That's why Senate Republicans wrote up plans for another whole round of PPP, a full second draw for the hardest hit businesses. House Democrats left this out of their bill entirely and essentially turned their backs on those benefiting from PPP. But Republicans want to keep helping Main Street workers. One woman-owned small business in northern Kentucky shared that, quote, "We are grateful for the $465,000 in the PPP, but we've used all of it for payroll and employee-related costs, 18 weeks of expenses. We are seeking more financial help to keep our most treasured asset, our people, employed." And the president of an inspection company in Louisville says this, "You have no idea how much this second draw on PPP will help us. We were actually in the process of figuring out how we were going to make it through to our fall work season. If we get this, that second tranche, if we get this, we could make it into our season with no layoffs." Republicans want to get more aid to these workers, but Senate Democrats have blocked every bit of it over non-COVID related liberal demands. Let's talk about our university presidents who are worried about testing and funding in the fall. Our K through 12 school boards and superintendents want legal protections so they can reopen. So Republicans proposed billions for education, actually even more than House Democrats in their bill. But now Democrats are blocking it all over unrelated liberal demands. Republicans want another round of direct checks to households across Kentucky and across America. I just heard from one constituent who said, "With my first one, I was able to get an eye exam and new glasses." I appreciate all you can do. Some of us are hurting and need help. I want to put more cash in her pocket right now. But Democrats are blocking every penny over unrelated liberal demands. So, Mr. President, do you see the pattern? Kentuckians need more help. Americans need more help. The American people are not done fighting this virus, and Republicans are not done crafting policies to help them. But the difference between now and March is that Democrats seem to be finished being reasonable. The Speaker of the House and the Senate Democratic leader have cut all their colleagues, all of them, all of their committees, out of negotiations. They're doing this alone. And they've declared that none of the priorities I named will see a single dime unless the two of them have declared none of the priorities I have named will see a single dime unless Millionaires in Brooklyn and San Francisco get a massive tax cut. States get a $1 trillion slush fund to cover budget problems from long before the pandemic. And we tax essential workers to pay unemployed people a higher salary to stay home. Republicans wanted to reach agreement on all these issues where we could find common ground and fight over the last few issues later. But the Speaker and the Democratic leader say nothing can move unless every one of these unrelated far-left items tags along.
Visit CoreyGala.com and schedule your wellness consultation to receive a custom-designed, scientifically sound behavior action plan that is holistically based. Browse the website and enjoy free articles and valuable health and beauty information. Receive your free holistic skincare ebook. CoreyGala.com.
Our states need results, and Republicans will fight until we actually get an outcome.
Order. The leadership time is reserved, and under the previous order, the Senate will be in a period of morning business with senators permitted to speak for up to 10 minutes each.
Mr. President.
Senator from Virginia.
Mr. President, I rise today to speak about the latest coronavirus emergency aid package, but before I do, as a matter of personal privilege, I want to offer some comments in praise of a colleague. Just as we gather together, regardless of party, to mourn when a colleague dies or be together with a colleague who's undergoing a challenge, I think it's good to gather together and acknowledge when something positive happens to a colleague, regardless of our political affiliation. And this is the first opportunity on the Senate floor to offer a word about Senator Kamala Harris, one of our colleagues who, in a historic move, was asked by another former Senate colleague, Vice President Joe Biden, to join him as his preferred nominee to be Vice President of the United States. I've come to know Senator Harris in her 4 years in the Senate, as many of us have through her service on especially the Judiciary Committee and the Intelligence Committee. Her public service track record is a significant one, worthy of praise, from her work as a district attorney, first a line prosecutor and then the elected district attorney in San Francisco, where she focused on trying to keep her community safe, to service as California's Attorney General, broadening the portfolio to include environmental justice and consumer protection, and now her work in the Senate since 2016. What I find so compelling about Senator Harris, in addition to her track record of public service during a very long career, is her personal story. Raised as the child of two immigrants, a Jamaican father and an Indian mother, as so many in this country, raised as children of immigrants, developing a passion to serve and a patriotic love of country. She's the first nominee, African-American woman nominee, ever to be on a ticket. She's the first South Asian person of South Asian descent ever to be on a ticket. And in the year 2020, when we are commemorating the 100th anniversary of the amendment that guaranteed women the right to vote, I can think of no greater way to celebrate a centennial than for one of our colleagues who is a woman to have a chance to break a glass ceiling that still has existed, whereby no woman in this country has ever been a vice president or president. We're so good at so much in this country. In fact, we're so good at many things with regard to women in this country, but we are sort of uniquely bad in electing women to higher office in Congress right now. 24% of Congress is women, and that ranks us 76th in the world in terms of our percentage of women in a national legislative body. We're tied with Afghanistan, but we trail Iraq, Canada, Mexico, and many other nations. So regardless of how it all works out between now and November, and regardless of our own political affiliations, this is a good day, I believe, for the country, and a good day for the Senate when one of the 100 is recognized in such a way and introduced to the American public with an opportunity to serve at a significant level. Returning to the latest coronavirus emergency aid package. Currently, the package doesn't exist. There have been no bipartisan negotiations on it since last Friday. And that's disappointing to all of us who are here, ready and willing to negotiate and vote for a strong bipartisan relief package. The House of Representatives passed its strong package back on May 15th, now nearly 3 months ago. Today's August 12th. There was some hope that maybe COVID cases were ticking downward. At the end of May, there was some hope that maybe the economic devastation was reducing, but COVID cases did not tick down over the summer, as some have hoped. In fact, they have ticked up in many parts of the country. And the Senate has not taken any votes on the House bill